Hello, friends. Welcome to the follow-up episode to last week's call-in show with Wolf Alexander, with the alias known as Wolf Alexander running for Congress. We have some stuff about him that we would like to share with y'all because we feel a certain imperative to be honest with our viewership about people that we platform, people that we give time on air. If we can, we want to also we want to give you a full picture of who they are. Now, also, this fellow has made the mistake of looking for a fight with me. So, and if you don't know, I am Trevor Stewart 1308. We are here with the Asoc Prod, Khatt. And before we get into it, we have a couple of words from our sponsors. Today's pre-roll brought to you by... Oh, I don't have their little thing here. Let's get this. This will do. Today's pre-roll brought to you by Firehouze Organics. You can find them on Instagram. Firehouze Organics, spelled Firehouze. A First Coast craft cannabis farm. And today's pre-roll is a steak and cheese, which I am interested in trying. The second half of today's show will be brought to you by our good friends at the Hidden Leaf, downtown Charlottesville, 105 West Main Street, Suite 200, above the bricks, between 10,000 Villages and Hamilton's. But that's the second part of the show. First part of the show is Firehouze Organics, and not only will we be reviewing this steak and cheese pre-roll, but they also gave me. I have accepted items for review for free from them, including this garlic cookies concentrate that they make. I will be doing a dab on stream shortly. I would like to show you what this looks like and how full this container is. It smells dangerous. It smells dangerous. It smells like this hit is going to do something to me. So, let us get on with the product reviews before we get into the depressing news. Oh,
I would call it a person review.
A person review. I like that. A personal review. Yes. I would also like to, at this point, say that we endorse both of our sponsors, but they do not necessarily endorse us. We are not a news show, so we do have opinions. Now, granted, those opinions are 100% true, and also 100% verifiable as opinions. But we do have opinions, and they are businesses, and they don't have opinions. So it is important to say they do not endorse our opinions. Those opinions expressed on these shows are our opinions alone. Nikwork Entertainment and Nestor Industries, however, do completely endorse my opinions. Did I do a good job of getting that qualifier out there?
I believe you did. We might want to do it again at the end of the show for people that decide to skip over the intro, though.
You know, we might. We might. I can't imagine people will want to skip over watching me do this dab. This stuff is, this looks like it's about to be intense. Ooh, yeah, look at that. That's the consistency of peanut butter. Of a fine peanut butter. I'm gonna get a little more on there.
It's what flavor now?
It says garlic cookies.
I'm guessing that's not something I should be putting on my garlic toast.
You know, you can. I think it would be an adventure. Premium and organic. So this device is called the nectar collector. It is a glass straw that you heat the tiny end up, touch it on the concentrate, and you draw through the other end, drawing up the vaporized concentrate.
Mm-hmm.
For those who don't know how this works.
Like me.
Well, yes, like you. Now, I have seen recently an electric nectar collector where you press a button and there's a coil down at the tip, and the coil heats up the tip for you electrically. And I kind of want those, because this goes through a lot of butane doing it this way.
Makes sense.
Takes a while to get it up to heat.
Mm.
And you want it at a pretty good temperature. No, I don't know.
Let's just say with the term nectar collector and what I just saw on the screen, that's leaning awfully hard into the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland, which is kind of nifty.
I like that. I like that thought. Who are you? I think if I ever was in Alice in Wonderland, that would be the number 2 part for me.
The first choice would be one that you and I would be fighting over.
Ooh.
You could do.
I couldn't hear you. Wow! That was good. Wow.
Yeah.
That was, okay, so. It hits like a chip. Wow. Oh my goodness. So, get your paws out to concentrate.
I know.
Lighter's still a little hot. Okay, so it tasted like an anise cookie to start with, but then I got the garlic taste. It definitely tasted like garlic cookies, and not in a bad way. It tasted exactly as advertised in a really good way. Now, if you don't know how good garlic cookies can taste, I have a culinary challenge for people. This is something that I introduced Darth Dragonis, the proctor of exams. Thank you. I introduced him to years ago was, hey, leave my tie alone. Salami on peanut butter cookies. Molasses cookies. Salami on molasses cookies. Yes, thank you, Darth Dragonis, who is in the chat right now. Much love. And that, I challenge people. This reminded me of that, and I challenge people to try that. Salami on molasses cookies. Yeah, right? Yeah. Tell me you're a stoner without telling me you're a stoner. Very true. Wow. Okay. That. Oh, I like it. I like it. It gave me the warm, fuzzy feeling behind my eyeballs that I really like.
Good to know.
Yes. I think that's the feeling of my eyes getting bloodshot.
I mean, they're supposed to be sensitive, so I imagine rubbing them with wool from behind would make them upset.
I am often amazed at how your brain works.
Sorry.
You come up with things that are like, how did you get there?
That is the question my mother asked the entire time I was growing up and for years afterwards. So we still don't know.
Okay, that's fair. I like it. This is not a negative quality in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, If you look at chat, my first thought was not "Are you okay?" It was you need a kazoo next time you do this.
Oh, yes, that's right. And yes, my first character choice in Alice of Wonderland would have us fighting over it, which is why I am perfectly fine playing the caterpillar if you're in the production. For those of you who have not figured it out, Cheshire Cat would be my number one choice. Character choice to play in Alice in Wonderland. Now,
I think if you were doing a 2-person production, you'd make an excellent caterpillar / Mad Hatter.
thank you. I would like to play both the Mad Hatter and the March Hare at the same time, giving them a not dissociative but multiple personality complex. So
a little bit like some of the plays I've seen where they paint one half of the face for one character and one half for the other. That could be fun.
it would be. I would have a lot of fun trying to do that.
And then we could paint your backup to look like the caterpillar, and you could be all 3 at once.
They don't ever appear in a scene together, do they?
Nope.
So I could play all 3 parts.
Yep.
In one production. Okay, so now the next thing, though, is, I had a thought. It went thunk.
His name was Bob. Hi, Bob.
Oh, I remember. I have been in a production of Alice in Wonderland. When I was but a young child, a wee child of maybe 5. The commune the hippie farm put on a production of The Trial of Alice in Wonderland. The Trial of Alice, in Wonderland. The people, or the Crown versus Alice.
Mm-hmm.
And I played the King of Hearts. I had one line. Off with... You heard what she said. Off with her head. Off with her head.
Mm-hmm.
But I was on stage the entire time. I have been in theater my entire life. Pretty much. Alright, so now let's fire up this steak and cheese. There's a sentence you don't get to say often. I'm expecting it to have a meat breath taste. Meat breath is a strain name. And I'm expecting it to be steak. I'm kind of expecting meat breath, a cross of meat breath and blue cheese.
If it ends up tasting like the beefsteak tomatoes, I'm going to laugh so hard.
It, as with all of their pre-rolls, it smokes beautifully. It's, I didn't have warning that ad break was coming up.
Neither did I.
Well, that's okay, because this is also going on YouTube. I'll wait till we get back from ad to finish this, though. To finish the sentence.
Okay.
tastes good. It tastes good. I like the way it tastes. It smokes well. I like the way it smokes. It is strong. I mean, obviously, it's not as strong as the concentrate.
Alright.
But
I think we're back.
we're not back. We've got 6, 5, 4, 1. Now we're back from commercial. All right. Hello, friends. So, as I was saying, all of their pre-rolls, you can if you want. Darth Dragonus asks, do you need me to chime in? Oh, we were back before I started counting. Okay. So, about levels of bud. Yes. Their pre-rolls always smoke well. Their pre-rolls are always well rolled. They smoke evenly. They draw well. This... Their bud at Firehouze, their bud is, especially their premiums, are always strong. Their exotics are always strong. They're always really strong. So, flavor, that's what I was talking about, though. So the flavor is... It is. It's meat breath to open and blue cheese on the back end. It's, yeah. Although, you know, I don't personally like the taste of blue cheese. Oh, I was saying that concentrates are stronger than bud in general. Okay. So let me finish saying what I was about to say about taste, and then I'll read what Darth Dragonus, the proctor of exams, is saying about levels of bud. The proctor of exams, not proctor. The proctor of Broxams. The taste, I'm not a fan of the taste of blue cheese, the strain of bud. I'm not necessarily against the flavor of meat breath, but it's not my favorite flavor. But when you mix them, when you crossbreed them into steak and cheese, it is quite delicious. Now, what I betcha I'm gonna find out, though, is that this isn't really a cross between meat breath and blue cheese. There are websites and search engines to look this sort of thing up. I just don't remember what they are. So what Darth Dragonus was saying is you have 5 levels of flour, then you have hash, then moon rocks, then concentrates. And there are 2 levels of concentrates. 2, maybe 3 levels of concentrates. The 5 levels of flour, if you would, Darth Dragonus. I only teach the 101 course in Weed College. He's 201, or I'm 101 through 199 course. I teach the 100 levels. He teaches the 2 and 300 level courses. He might even teach the 400 level course. I'm not sure. But I think the guy at I think the guy at Hidden Leaf teaches the 4 and 5 level course. 4 and 500 level courses. You know what would be fun? Is a workshop. See if he would hold workshops up there. Anyway. Yeah, this stuff's pretty good. I'm kind of high. Hi.
That's a very interesting idea.
What? Weed manufacturing workshops?
Or if not necessarily manufacturing, at least knowledge on things.
Mm-hmm. Consumer knowledge. Yeah, that would be. Brock says lowest level of flower is ditch and can grow anywhere without any human involvement. Yep. It's a weed. The second level or commercial can grow anywhere but has human involvement. And it's not usually very high in THC. It's higher than the ditch weed, but it's not, very high.
That was not me. That was the dog.
Then
I've got a Mastiff on one side and a Newfoundland on the other that just both flipped over at the same time, like synchronized whales.
Aww. Then you have mid-grade is treated correctly, if treated correctly by humans and has some love. No, it is treated correctly by humans and has some love. Mid-grade, middies, not minis. You do not need a special pipe to smoke middies. Next is the beaster, coming from the nomenclature coming from BC, Canada, or British Columbia, because they used to come down from British Columbia, Canada. And beasters are usually grown. What Darth Dragonus says is next to the beaster level, where it is babied. And beasters are usually grown with chemical involvement. Miracle Grow. Not organic. I think in the beaster level you can also have... I don't know if hydro goes into the beaster level, or if hydro's above beasters. In the olden days, hydro was above beasters. Medical grade, where it's under a microscope the entire time. Although what's really interesting is medical grade marijuana, like medical marijuana, medical and experimental marijuana is really not good. It's all produced in one farm and held in one place, and it is ditch weed, and it's usually moldy, and it is not good. Low THC content. Hydro is a way of growing using no pots but tubing to hydrate the roots. Yes. The hydroponic, that's hydroponics. And hydroponics used to fall between, sort of around beasters, between beasters and kind. And kind was organic outdoor or indoor, but now they differentiate between outdoor and indoor. Outdoor is generally considered a lower quality because it is exposed to the elements. However, it gets more sunshine, so it tends to be hardier and try to produce more. Indoor is not exposed to the elements, so it doesn't lose a lot of its THC content to wind and rain, its crystals, its stuff like that on the outside. But it doesn't have, it's really hard to get indoor lighting up to the same quantity of light. Medical grade must be 27% higher, though it can't be higher than 34%. Above that is where hash comes into play. Okay. Now that's medical grade, not the governmental medical stuff. I heard that about the governmental medical stuff on NPR. Just so that we're clear, that is the source that I heard that from. But yeah, indoor and outdoor. Hash will cover a wide range all the way up to the concentrate. There you go. Moon rocks is bud that has been infused with concentrate and rolled in hash. Jess? Or no, rolled in keef. Keef is the crystals. Keef rolled in concentrate. And with bud. Keef, bud, and concentrate. Caviar is adding hash to that. Okay. So, yes, that is our lesson on weed for the day. And now we must move on to less fun topics. I want to start with what really surprised me last week, which was not anything from Wolfie Boy. It was your answer about transgender issues. And what surprised me, and I want to say here and now that if this conversation makes you uncomfortable to the point of not wanting to have it, we do not have to have this conversation on air. And, you and I are friends. We have a professional relationship here working together. We have a gaming relationship, but we also have a friendship. And our friendship and none of our relationships are neither our friendship nor any of our relationships are in danger because of the way you answered that question. I have a point about it I would like to clear up.
Okay.
Now, I don't remember if you talked about sports, but that's not the point that I want to clear up this week.
No. I mentioned sports at all. I don't care about the sports, honestly.
Okay. No, what what you said and what I see, I know you pretty well, so I think I know kind of what you meant, and I know you don't mean a dog whistle for anti-trans or transphobia. You would never mean to put that out there.
No.
No. The dog whistle is leave the kids alone. That is a dog whistle specifically calling people who are not cisgendered, calling trans people and people who like drag. That is a dog whistle for calling us groomers. It is a dog whistle for saying that if you ever see one of these people with or around a child, they are a PDF file. They are G-rooming that child to be, and they're going to abuse that child. And it's, I know that what you mean is you don't want, from the standpoint of a teacher, you don't like the idea of children getting invasive operations. And, as some might say, elective invasive operations.
I don't like that idea, but that's a decision between that child, their parents.
Right. And that's the other thing you mean by leave the children alone, is the government and the schools shouldn't be making these choices. These are decisions best left to children and parents. No one outside of that relationship should be weighing in.
And once the child is at a certain age, it's their choice. And
True. Now,
the parents can have a say. They can have an opinion, but everybody else can have an opinion and still leave them alone.
The danger in that is that a lot of trans children, their parents present a clear and present danger to that child. So if it's a fine line, it's situational. And so you can't just say, leave the children alone. Sometimes the school is the only one that's going to be able to advocate for that child to be who they really are. So to backtrack a little bit, also, leave the children alone, and the idea of the invasive medical procedures is all a bunch of misdirection. What children are really, what they're really doing is taking puberty blockers. They're not, very, very few people under the age of 18 are having these surgeries. It would be pretty extreme for a child to have this surgery. And I mean, extreme enough that I don't think it's happened. It's, children are choosing to take puberty blockers because, I don't know if puberty was traumatic for you, but it's generally traumatic even for cisgender people. For people who don't fit in their body, puberty is extremely upsetting, extremely traumatic. Going through puberty as a transgender or non-binary person has paid for an insane number of shrinks, new boats, new houses, cottages on the lakes, and children to go through college and get medical degrees so that they can run this same scam on people who are being damaged by society. Oh, sorry, was that a soapbox?
Last time I checked, we're allowed to have soapboxes here.
Okay.
There's like 4 or 5 stacked around my room.
True that. So, the whole leave the children alone thing, that's a very dangerous. We are in ad break. It's okay, we're still gonna finish this. It's a very dangerous tack to take.
I'll be honest. When I said that, I wasn't thinking about any of the other connotations. I was going simply on, if you are choosing your sexuality and everything else, that's great. Go choose it. But I'm not okay if you choose to be a math dot. That's not a way of expressing your sexuality I'm okay with.
Okay.
So that was expressly where my brain was when I said that, was go do who or whatever or however you choose to be, express yourself however you choose to be. But this is the one area where I'm not okay.
Okay. I get that.
And I apologize for choosing the wrong set of words, or perhaps not.
That is also understandable. I don't know that I can accept the apology on behalf of all the people under the rainbow umbrella, but as far as between us, we're good. I get where you were coming from. Like I said, I understand what you meant. This is why I bring this up is so that in the future you're aware of where that might go.
I appreciate that. I do.
Yeah, partially because if in my company, if you are in my company and you say something, you say that around other trans people, I will do my best to shield you. But
if I'm painting a target on my own hide by not being mindful,
yes,
then I'm painting a target on my own hide for not being mindful, and I should be an adult and own up to the consequences.
Well, also, I'm only marginally allowed under this umbrella. It's, the funny thing is, there's gatekeeping even here, and I very much don't fit with the image of trans, non-binary, or queer, So my credentials are constantly being called into question. Now, I will stand behind you or in front of you no matter what, because we have to have that trust going into the stuff we're going into.
Mm-hmm.
I got your back no matter what.
Same.
So, if you do paint that target on you, I'm getting kicked out of the club just as much as you are. If they come for you, I will be there. Afterwards, I may look at you and go, that was not the right thing to say.
I would fully expect that. Like, an entire Gibbs slap to the back of the head. Why?
Why? Why'd you make me have to do this? But I got you. You know, like last week, I did not jump in there to be like, okay, Khatt, but I took my glasses off and thought we will talk about this another time. Oh, Darth Dragonis, thank you. Thank you, brother. You know how much I love you. Darth Dragonis says, I'll have your back, stand in front of you, and fight beside you. And knowing him, he'll do all of them at the same time. The Force is strong with this one. So, we have covered that.
Yes.
Now, on to the juicy and fun stuff. So, we are not going to say Wolf Alexander's real name on screen, on air, any more than we already have, because his real name does include both Alexander and Wolf. However, we will be publishing links to his criminal record in the YouTube comments and on the Discord. Or not the YouTube comments, the YouTube description.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Discord. Goodness gracious.
What?
This guy's criminal record is just... And so, I feel like there's some that we haven't even seen yet. You know, we've gone through... You got all his stuff from West Virginia, right?
Stuff from West Virginia, there's nothing currently in this state, but...
Yet.
We'll see.
Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, now, it would be in bad faith of me to say that I would have left him alone completely had he not done what he did after last week's episode. Check Florida, all records are public. Oh my. Yes. So, it would be in bad faith because we were pretty sure he had a criminal record. You know, when we brought him on the show, we were pretty sure he had a criminal record. I knew he was sleazy. I knew he did not... He rubbed me the wrong way immediately. You know, he seemed like the kind of guy who wanted to be my friend, but I really didn't want to be his friend. But as soon as he said he was running for office, and again, I want to be saying this in good faith. Part of me said, okay, you know, he's running for office here. We need to take a look at him because he can't be a good person. Like, he feels really wrong. He's, you know, but part of me was also like, oh my God, this guy's a joke. This guy is a freaking joke. How can I not bring this joke on air? Now, I tried really hard not to clown him. I tried really hard not to, to take him as seriously as possible and accept what he was saying at face value. Goodness gracious, this guy is a freaking joke. Oh, man. The fact that he's running for Congress, does he have felony convictions on the record that we've seen?
He's got felony charges on the record that we've seen. So far, I haven't been able to access the court records that those charges were transferred to.
Okay.
Basically, he was charged in district court, or what in our area would be district court, and it got transferred to the circuit court.
Okay. All right. And so you're looking through West Virginia Circuit Court records to try and find what happened to those.
Right.
Okay, that explains why those charges. So shall we talk about the charges that seem to have been transferred?
Yes, I think that would be a very good idea because that was our main.
Our main thing was.
Well, my main thing of, this is not good.
Oh, okay.
Darth
Dragona said something wonderful. He said he looks like after you beat him in combat, he drops common loot. Actually, if you see him in person these days, he doesn't even drop common loot. He drops trash.
Oh, so that's where the used fishing bait comes from. Huh?
That's where...
Used fishing bait.
Yeah. There you go. So, what got me into looking into him was, in passing, someone mentioned that he had domestic abuse charges in West Virginia. And I didn't want to say anything about that until we'd fact-checked that. Well, he has domestic abuse charges. And the two that we've found in West Virginia appear to be, one of them says, what is it? Second or subsequent offense. And the other one says third offense.
One says third or subsequent offense.
And the other one says third offense.
So basically, they just stop counting at 3 there, and they just go with, there's at least 3 and more.
So these are charges.
These are charges. They have not been...
We don't know if he's... The stalking charges, he pled no contest to, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly.
There was one where it was dismissed and one where it looked like it was pled no contest.
Right. Okay, yes. One was dismissed, one was no contest. Harassment is in there. Apparently there are 19 charges from West Virginia, but we only have 15 of them.
I am guessing that those other charges were filed higher up.
Probably.
I do know that whatever's been filed, so far he doesn't have any actual federal charges. It's all state-related.
Yes. As far as we've been able to find so far.
Yeah.
So here's the last thing the last one we have, I find kind of fun. Intimidation of and retaliation against public officers and employees. Penalties, felony. Pleads not guilty. It's transferred to circuit court as of 2022. 01/12/2022.
Yeah.
So it's quite possible that he just got done serving that sentence and ran his butt up here. Now, we also have a link to his mugshots.
We do. There's a very nice website that
Yep.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's got several mugshots listed, and they do correspond with the charges we were able to find.
Okay. There you go. Media literacy. So, now, let's move on. I'm not going to post these in the file just yet.
Yeah.
So I suppose you viewers have to take our word for it. I have shared these communications with Khatt.
Yeah.
As a backup in case something happens. Oh my goodness. Just so starting, I don't even want to read through the exchange because it's pretty messed up. It was pretty messed up. He pretty much, he started menacing me, implying threats. Implying very hard, implying threats. And y'all don't know me that well. But I will tell you for free that threatening me does not make me do what you want. Threatening me breeds contempt, anger, and a desire to take you down. Last person to threaten me before this guy, who didn't immediately decide to take it back, I couldn't touch him. Couldn't touch him at the time because he was an important person in the community and I was not. He had money. I did not. He had allies and friends. Allies. People like that don't have friends. I did not. I mean, I did, I suppose, have friends and all, but I didn't have the kind of resources I have now.
Mm.
And this other nemesis of mine has recently come back into my awareness as a problem in the community. And I'm not promising anything here.
Mm.
All I am going to say is that we are looking into bad people in the community. You know what? I want to say thank you here and now to Wolf Alexander for opening me up to the idea that maybe I should be keeping an eye on my community. That I have a platform, and with that platform, to me, comes a personal responsibility to not let the injustices I see around me go untalked about.
Yeah.
I really, really just want to tell jokes. I want to make people laugh. That's really what I want to do with my life. I do not want to have to be this person. But these problems, I'm sick and tired of letting these problems happen and saying, I guess I'm too weak to do anything about it. The number of friends who have been hurt that I haven't been able to do anything about. The number of people that I've seen leave town destroyed by these people. And so, along with this thank you to Wolf Alexander, I'm also going to say, don't mess around in my town. Don't. You're the kind of person that I don't like. Don't do it. I will tell people about what I see. I don't gossip. I tell the facts. We fact check ourselves. We do. When we are breaking this kind of news, we fact check ourselves.
When we're doing something to make sure our people are protected, we fact check ourselves so that we know they've got the best information to keep themselves safe.
Yeah. And I would also like to say to Wolf Alexander, who has been... He changed my name in his phone, or put me in to his phone as Alexander Hamilton. And he keeps asking if he's Aaron Burr in this situation. And I said this to him via text, but I will say it to him again here and now. This is not a skit. This is not a play. This is not a bit. This is not a joke. This is real life. Your threats may have been implied, but they were threats. You threatened me in real life. That is not acceptable behavior. Not from our politicians, not from our community leaders, not from our friends, neighbors. Nobody in our community should be behaving like that. I have said my piece on the matter. We will provide you with more information about his criminal background as we get it. Although, only feel the need to look at as much of it as you feel the need to look at. It might be triggering. It might be upsetting. And while I will not dox him, I will say that this individual lacks the wisdom to not dox himself. He has put his own address on his blog.
And his phone number.
And his phone number. Now,
We don't.
After you.
Is that we don't need to dox. Doxing people is wrong for the most part.
It's wrong.
But
hey!
People to do their own research.
Lockpick raid. Thank you. Thank you for the raid. Love you guys. We are discussing bad people. A specific bad person who is dumb enough. I don't want to insult dumb people by comparing him to them. This man is unwise enough to put his phone number and address on his blog. We are not doxing him. We aren't saying it. But boy, this guy said it. And the other thing we have to say right now is that we legally do not condone violence or harassment against this guy. I'm not actually saying something in Morse code. I'm just blinking a lot.
I am not looking at you.
Okay, got my hand wrapped back up. Feel better. Good. I'm glad you feel better. Yeah. This fellow that we talked to last week. So, I just finished talking about how this fellow, pretty much the day after the interview, started menacing. Yes, Darth Dragona says, they say if you must resort to violence, then you have already lost. Yes. The day after the interview, this man started menacing me via text. we will be publishing his entire, as much of his criminal record as we can get our hands on, in the Discord and in the description of the YouTube video. And, you know, what I was saying right before you guys came in was that this man's behavior, this threatening and menacing behavior, is not acceptable behavior. It is not acceptable behavior from our politicians, our community leaders. It's from anybody. Enjoy your shower, Master. Think of me while you're in there. I'm not cheating on you, Lockpick. We're not married yet.
I mean, it's an it's a cross international thing. You guys might be able to make it work,
right? But yeah, I mean, I've said my piece about this guy. We will continue to update him as we get, or update you as we get more information about his criminal record. I will say that while this guy is a joke, and I really don't take him seriously as a person, his threats have made me twitchy. And I don't know what that means. I've never seen where that fully leads. Because usually people get took care of by legal means before my twitchiness gets so bad that action needs to occur. I mean, you know, most of the time the people who make me twitchy, really twitchy, end up burning up their time in town and having to leave, and not because of me, but because they've pissed off everybody else. It's like,
yeah.
Yep. So I'm not I am looking into legal representation. And I am looking into legal representation from outside of town. I have a feeling that if this guy sticks around for very long, he's going to fall in with a group of people who have tactics such as approaching all the lawyers in town so as to poison the well, so that no lawyer in town will take your case. That's how this nemesis of mine from way before got me. They poisoned the legal well. When I ran around, even legal aid was like, sorry, can't touch it. And then the only person, well, there were two people who knew what went on. One person who had the evidence, and he mysteriously had a heart attack on 64 near Afton, like going up Afton Mountain. See if Huber is the ADA, he won't be poisoned. Huber. Alright, I'll look into that. I'm not... Yeah. I have a line on an out-of-town lawyer. A street fighting style out-of-town lawyer. And I think that's kind of what I want. Someone who doesn't have any ties to anything in town.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. We will be proceeding with extreme caution on this next part. Yeah. If we bring you a story from a source that we can't fact check, we will tell you that we have not fact checked that story, and that is a story from that source. Well, from a source that we can't confirm. A story we can't confirm from a source. We love you too, Crystal. Very, very much. We love you too. I should probably be more in fear for my safety than I am. Maybe not at the moment, but in general and in the future. And I have a feeling that I'm as paranoid as I love to be. I have a feeling I'm not going to be paranoid enough. That being said, I keep my trusty sound recorder on me at all times. So, if I find myself approached, I will at least be trying to record it. Granted, it may sound like somebody playing hacky sack with a ham. But I'll at least try to get the audio.
If that's the case, please call out shoe sizes.
It looks like it's about a 13 with a zigzag tread and oh god, I can't see anything anymore.
Good, that made you laugh.
What?
I said good, that made you laugh.
Yeah. This has been a pretty serious episode, folks. You know, but I am, as much of a joke as this guy is, I'm not gonna not take him seriously. You know, it would be dangerous to not take him seriously. Now, I honestly don't know if he takes me seriously.
Mm,
He hasn't contacted me in several days, and he hasn't put up any new threats on me on his blog in a few days, so he might have just kind of moved on.
uh,
Um,
he was busy being distracted with some other people in his blog, so that could very well be.
Aw, thank you, Retro. I appreciate it. Thank you. We appreciate you taking care of business for us. Um, Wolf Alexander for Congress is who he goes by. Yeah. What was Wolf is his okay, see again, he did this himself, right? Wolf is his mom or his grandmom's maiden name.
Yeah.
He said that to us on the show. Like, aw, thank you, Retro. Thank you. Are we gonna raid out to you? Are you gonna be streaming so we can raid to you? You know, the other thing he did is at one point in his audio messages, he said, you know, he kept saying, "Oh, I know your type. I know your type." And he said, "Don't try to out journalist me. I can out journalist you anytime." And I'm like, I made a big deal of telling you I am not a journalist, dude. And also, the way you're talking, this isn't gonna be a journalist situation. This is not gonna be one journalist against another. You are coming at somebody who came up on some streets. You are coming at someone who has lived out of doors without a home for for longer than a month. We'll put it there. For close enough to a year that I could say I actually close enough to like 2 or 3 years that I could say I was homeless for a couple of years. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, if you're playing music, yes, Retro, I will raid to you. Yeah. Um yeah, I think. Oh. Well, Crystal is on, so I could also raid to her.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm still lurking in Crystal's stream too.
Hmm.
Well, if you're on by the time we raid, we'll raid to you this time. But we still love Just Me Crystal and think that everyone should be following her and lurking over in her stream.
Mm-hmm.
She is a friend of the channel. Capital F, friend. Sign language for F. And I think, as a group, this is going to be our hand sign. All right, y'all
I know
got
what you
that?
said.
What?
I said, I know what you said it stands for, but it looks like a reindeer to me.
That's fine. Although I think a reindeer is like this. Yeah, I think that's a reindeer.
Okay.
This is 8. This is F. So that, as a group, that's our hand sign. When we want to identify ourselves to our friends, that's what we throw up.
Mhm.
2 if you're deep. Yeah, I think this is pretty much it for the show today. We've done our due diligence. We've set our warnings. This, man, I cannot believe how unwise certain people are. I just cannot believe it. But, well, friends, thank you for joining us. The moral of this week's story is don't draw an arc on yourself. That's the moral of the story. Of today's story, anyway. And now is the time on the show when I say, stick around for the raid. Also, tomorrow, on tomorrow's show, I will be smoking both the green tops from Hidden Leaf, because I didn't get to either of them today. So, but today's show today's pre-roll was brought to you by Firehouze Organics. Firehouze Organics. Organic Cannabis Farms. Craft Cannabis Farm. And it was a steak and cheese. It was long burning, very delicious. I can recommend steak and cheese, especially from Firehouze. Yeah, I liked it. It was well worth it. Also, the garlic cookies concentrate from Firehouze gets an all the thumbs up. They were really delicious. Again, I'm gonna show you what this stuff looks like. Oof. Just so good. Sent me into a nice coughing fit. So, stick around for the raid. We will either be raiding Retro or Crystal. If Retro is on, we will be raiding Retro. And now is the time on the show when I say, as they say around here, 2 up, 2 down, VA, double deuces. We're out, y'all.
Mm-hmm.